I could tell you easily that if you ask me, what is the youth of France, what is the youth of Italy, what is the youth of, America, I can tell you that. And I could possibly, have like one or two adjectives to that, positive or negative or neutral. But if you ask me to tell me about Nepal or Maldives or Sri Lanka or something like that, I don't think anybody here will be able to even use one word because we have the knowledge. So Pradeep, I think Anshu's there, but it's all right. We can move on. What has been you worked with youth all your life, so what has been your inspiration? What was your inspiration to work with the youth, youth development, peace building in Nepal? And what is your message today for them from this platform?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rachna, for this conversation, organizing this conversation. This is so wonderful. I'm very happy to mention Sri Lanka status, and I want to mention we're with Sri Lanka right now. Thank you for coming, even in this difficult situation. Let me begin with my story. So I born and raised in one of the small and beautiful village in east part of the Nepal, and so-called untouchable caste groups in Nepal that they call Dalit. So I used to be a journalist back in 20 years back, and then I travel length and breadth of Nepal, and then meeting different young people, and then realizing the potential of the young people. But they don't have, even in South Asia, most of the young people doesn't have a job. So every year that market is full with young people, but there is no job. If I talk about the Nepal, so every year 500,000 young people enter in the job market, but only 10% of the young people got the job. So when I travel Nepal, that time we had a civil war, and then I met the young people in one of the district called Acham, and then he told me, and then I met the more young people there, and then they don't have a job, they don't have to do anything. So most of the time they are playing the carom board. If you know the carom board, they are playing the carom board only, and they don't have a job, they don't have a work, they don't have to do anything. So and I realized the potential of the young people, and then I set up the organization called Nepal Youth Forum, and then I realized my inspiration is fellow young people. So how I started my later on, that's that time I made a vision of peaceful Nepal free of all discrimination, because I see the discrimination because of the main motto is engaging young people in this social work. So that's how I started the work, and that's my inspiration is young people of Nepal. Later on, I traveled Somalia, Pakistan, and other country, and then these all the young people whoever I meet, they are the most inspiration. So mostly youth definition is unclear, and societal perception towards young people is mostly negative. There is when we talk about the youth, there is always two issues comes: violence and security. So victims of violence and insecurities, and there is a threat when we talk about the young people. So globally, globally this issues is really not addressed. So mostly youth situation is mostly young adults use as an object. So sometimes these days youth young people act as a recipient, and what we are looking for is youth should be as a partner, even the peace building in the political process, economic reform, or social justice. How can we engage young people as a partner is very important and key in these days, which is not happening in South Asia. So South Asia is not realizing the young people potential. So in India, there's the largest number of the young people. In Nepal, there's more than 40%. In Sri Lanka also, there's a more young people in Pakistan and Bhutan and Bangladesh, and even in Afghanistan. If we talk about Afghanistan, there is a huge issues of the peace building. So right now we have to work more on peace building process in Afghanistan, and that there is an economic reform needed in Sri Lanka and Nepal also. So that kind of situation right now we are facing. So maybe I'll stop here, and then if Rashna has more question, I'll answer. Sorry for disturbance.
Yeah. No, no, don't worry about that. So SAARC region, has always been affected with a lot of human displacement, right? We always hear
Yes.
one or the other region. So, and you have experience working with rehabilitation. Do you think it gets resettlement gets possible? Has it happened? Like, is it like a process that can be needs improvement, or it's already happening and it's possible, or it doesn't happen? What is the average experience
Uh,
working in that space?
So conflict, when we have a conflict, there is a lot of issues. So after the conflict, there is a we see there is a lot of Afghani. I was in the US in November last year, and there's my friends are picking up the uh, Afghanis in airport, and then now I realized that there is a lot refugees going in abroad. So resettlement is a temporary solution in my views. That's we need to give a space in their own places to live healthy and
Correct.
prosperous life. So this is a temporary. Even in the we have a Bhutanese refugee in Nepal also, and we have a refugee from Myanmar these days. So this is a temporary things. So people, those who born and raised in their own, these days there's a lot of issues of globalization issues, and there's a migration trend. So, but resettlement is temporary, so it shouldn't be long term. So if there's somebody need resettlement for temporary, we need to support. As in SAARC, we are neighbor country, we have a similar culture, we have a similar some there's a lot of similarities. So we need to support each other, but in the long term, we need to settle the people in their own places.
Yeah.
That's my view.
I absolutely really like this. This was, I think, a breakthrough when you said that it's not about resettlement, it's about finding peace in their own territories rather than going after this temporary process and making this process better, right? And we are so good with resettling people. No, we don't want that to happen. Because if I'm sure there are reports which must be reporting that in recorded history of mankind, the maximum humanitarian displacements had happened in this region, in SAARC.
Yeah.
It is a fact today. And
Yeah.
we are so indifferent to it. It's not making a difference to us, because if it was, then all of us would have been, human, and we would have engaged in some kind of dialogue. We could have said, no, this is enough. But I think it's either we are like used to it, that it's all right now, this has been happening with us, let's continue. It's like a culture that is getting continued. So we really have to stop this, because these numbers are like really poisonous. And if they keep taking this momentum, this is not good. So I think that through your policy center and your youth organizations, because you already have not one, through 3 organizations, and you also are sitting on the boards of various organizations, I think that should be your, I mean, just to, you're not seeking this advice, but just a feedback from somebody who's also human. And I think I completely relate with this displacement that happens. And I think that should be the focus for SAARC, that it shouldn't happen anymore. It has to stop. So you also are an advocate of the rights of the marginalized people, as we just spoke. And that's another thing that we see in SAARC, right? Dalit is a very big issue, right? But the thing is this, we want to understand what is the root, what is the source of this problem? And how do you think we can avoid this?
That's a very important question. So this is a long term, it's a practice more than 3,000 years in Hindu caste system. So we are fighting for this very hardly. So if we think, especially in Nepal, India, Nepal and Indian society interact through a caste-based ideology, systems, and structure. But the passed down by those in power, the dominant caste groups. Caste-based hierarchy exclude the all aspects of citizenry, and states have further marginalization already excluded, particularly the women, Dalit, indigenous population, and different gender identities who have yet to find their true meaningful representation and participation in democracy and nation building, which is not happening in South Asia. Even there's issues in Bangladesh, there is some issues in Sri Lanka, in tea garden, and there's issues in Pakistan. There's I think some issues in Bhutan as well. So this barrier associated with the ethnicity, culture, religion, and a geographical diversity and additional existing discrimination. So establishing caste as everybody's agenda is one of the main core things we are doing. So how can we build this caste issues as everyone's agenda? Because you also already mentioned as a human, we're not looking at this displacement issues as our issues. So those who are facing the problem, those who are facing the problem, they are only fighting for the justice. So Dalit, this is now we have one new train and ideas. Those who are facing this Dalit issues and caste-based discrimination, that's not their problem. Not only their problem. Those who are doing, that's their problem. Why they are doing that? So how can we make the everyone agenda is one of the important issues, and I think young people need to understand our society, and then we need to respond accordingly, which is not happening in India, Nepal, and other part of the world. And nowadays, one of my friends told me that even West Indies. Now they have a caste discrimination because people are traveling around the globe. So there is a caste issue in the US, caste issues in UK. So that kind of a situation we are facing. So how can we make caste is a global agenda and everyone agenda? That's one of the motto we are working on it.
Yeah, I think to begin with, SARC's agenda.
Yeah, SARC agenda, yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Because I don't know if we can deal with the world is so many billion people, but I think SARC would be easier. To have a milestone. If you were given the role of a peace, maker, a peace builder of this SARC, what would be the three things that you would do?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So one of the thing is we need to work on commonalities. What are the commonalities we have as a human? We have a lot of commonalities. So we are not focusing on our commonalities. So my suggestion and advice is let's look at the commonalities and then act on the differences. So we have a lot of differences, but we have commonalities. Most of the time we look at the differences, and that's how problem is created. More and more problem is created. So let's focus on commonalities, act on commonalities. That's my main agenda. And there is a lot of connectivity in SARC, especially in we need to work with the young people. So SARC needs to work in improving the connectivity, youth access, collaboration, research, and there's a lot of tourism prospects. So we need to focus on positive effect on relation among our countries and commonalities, which is not happening. And then SARC has a potential transform the South Asian region. So this can be the like a European Union. So, but we are not functioning in that way. So maybe young people intervention is necessary. That's how I'm thinking.
Yes, and I get that, and I will obviously connect with you on this answer because I have something interesting to talk to you offline. Anyway, so our company is for innovations, and this is my common question to all my speakers: and what innovative ideas do you have for us? How can we accelerate our impact in the region? What should we do next?
That's important question. So innovation is necessary. If we look at the new innovation, for example, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, this young people are doing it. So in South Asia also there is a lot of innovation in the different sectors, but most of the things we don't know about it. So how can we share the best ideas and then failures also among the young people? So that's necessary. So we have a lot of innovation, a lot of ideas, but we don't know about it because we are not communicating each other. So
Right.
my innovation idea, I don't have a new ideas, but we
Right.
did a lot of better things, great things, but we need to share that and then learn from each others. So
Right.
that's how I'm thinking.
Right. So we need more platforms. So one is obviously
Yes.
we continue with Furo Innovations as a platform, but I think we
Yeah,
need
this is the
more.
one.
Yeah, I think we need a lot, many more people with and so many more platforms. One is not enough. We have with a lot many people in this region. So I encourage everyone to open these channels of communication, open small initiatives, dialogues, talk to each other in a different way. Don't just think that Furo Innovations is there and it's going to do all its, that's enough. No, we
True,
need
true.
more Furo Innovations. Many more people engaging in the dialogue. We can come together. I'm all for collaboration, and I'll be very happy to work with each one. So one piece of advice that you want to give to the world leaders today and the leaders of SAC.
One thing is, one advice is look at the people of your country. Look at the people of those who are suffering. For example, look at the Ukrainian people traveling and then without food. So look at the people, Afghani people without food. So what we're doing as a human, we have a brain. We need to think cautiously. And then in this human history, why we're killing each other? So it's a very important question. We have a brain. As a human, why we're killing each other? So that's important questions I want to ask to all leader. And as a killing other is not the killing other and then making a peaceful, prosperous world. We can't make it like that way. So we need to stop all the war, and then we need to engage the young people to transform the world. Maybe I'll share one quote and then maybe I'll finish that my conversation. The future of humanity and of our planet lies in our hands. It lies also in the hands of today's younger generation who will pass the torch to the future generation. So let's save this planet in a better way. And then world leaders need to rethink how they're doing things. And then they need to change how they're working. So that's should be stop the war and engage the young people and invest on the young people. That's my piece of advice. And then my advice to young people, let's challenge the system. Let's challenge the state in a positive way. Thank you.